Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2 Curse of the Vampire Coast, where it is now turn 183. Progress has been, it's been steady, I would say. So you can see here, Silostra is now in the northern part of this jungle. I had her sort of sweep along the bottom. You can see we've picked up all of this stuff up through the mountains over here. Unfortunately, this territory is going to be kind of a pain to hold, but the Skaven massed up an awful lot of dudes, and I felt like she needed to show up and start reinforcing, rather than trying to carve out the last little areas over here. Once we get their armies under control in this region, then we can push west in concert, wipe out all those little western settlements, and I think we've really got Clan Pestilence on the back foot here. Unfortunately, right as things seemed certain, as our victory seemed totally assured, this happened. I totally forgot about this. It turns out that the second big wave of Chaos dudes, when you get the message that's all like, oh, the end of the world is upon us, can the civilization resist the Chaos tide, or whatever, is not the final wave of Chaos guys. There is a third wave that pops up a text box that's like, I know I said the last one was going to be the apocalyptic wave, but this time, this is the big one for real. That other one, totally a joke. This is the real one. So, that has happened, and we're going to have to deal with that. Things in the north are a little bit sketchier than down here, but let's solve our problems one at a time here. We may end up going back into real time here, actually recording all of the turns until we get to the chaos invasion dealt with, because this could be interesting, right? We may actually lose some significant territory here. I am not in a good position to play defense up north. Down here, we're actually pretty much fine. I had to put together an army for Beatrix the Slasher to run off the Khemri along the coast, so we're ready to defend over here. I think the play probably is... Yeah, you're only level 2. You're nowhere near having Lightning Strike. The play probably is just to go to the Star Tower and reinforce it, right? We've managed to get walls up pretty much everywhere. Don't have walls in the Mangrove Coast, but I'm building up the settlement for it. Yeah, let's just head over to the Star Tower.
All bones on deck.
Nope. See, if I had clicked, instead of going the path that takes only a single turn, it would definitely work. It wants to run me all the way around the coast through hostile territory. This is why we have to remember to do it this way.
Harness the sea. Three sheets to the wind.
Full sail over to the Star Tower. I mean, look, this is a lot of Chaos dudes. We are not ready to defend against this number of enemies. So we'll see what happens. Over here, we should probably just do whatever's in our power to get the Skaven burned down quickly, because I really need to be able to get back to focusing on these Chaos guys. So Silostra pretty easily takes the Temple of Kara. You may notice that there are 3 units of Sirens that are very, very low ranked in our army. That's because I ran into a battle that I couldn't manually resolve. I tried it 4 times, and every single time it crashed about 15 to 20 minutes into the battle. Right as we were getting into the enemy city center. So I had to auto-resolve it and accept the loss of all of our veteran Sirens, which really sucks. There's absolutely no reason that should have happened, but hey, what are you going to do? Total war bugs. So we are going to have to train them back up, but fortunately it's not going to have too much of an impact here against these very small groups of Skaven. So what do we have left of this area? Nurglost Cackle is running an undersized but pretty elite and scary army. And then we also have, is this Skrulk over here? It is, and Skrulk is... Ah, man, Skrulk's army is really, really something. Can we get Lenny Sealegs into position to take out that... No, we're not even close to being able to take out that character. But run over here, hinder replenishment's not really what I want. Do you have any characters in your army? No. I don't really know what to do with Lenny Sealegs here. I guess I'm just going to move him to the crossroads and we'll wait for next turn. Maybe he will have a more obvious move there. Let's deal with these guys first, or before doing anything else as well. So, Bones McDonald is a little short-handed, but he can afford to recruit from his ship, which actually has good units on it. So, is it just 4 units of Sirens? Probably not, right? That's probably too much melee. Maybe like 3 sirens and a gunnery mob? Honestly, that still might be too much melee.
All bones on deck.
Cat Rogers does not have access to good recruitment, but she does have access to an okay raised dead pool. Honestly, I don't think the gunnery mobs are terrible against Skaven, but the amount of storm vermin and globe bombardiers that we're seeing are making this guy a little bit awkward. Velbats probably won't really have any value either. Maybe we just go like gunnery mob and deckhands. Alright, I have 10,000 more gold to play with, so that, I think, is going to be all we want to do over here. Yeah, we're going to want to see how this Zahutak thing plays out. I guess what we could do is have Cat Rogers stand just outside the city in ambush mode, in the hopes of maybe drawing Skrulk forward, if he thinks the city's undefended and that he could take O'Bones McDonald, maybe. Alright, let's go look at the situation a little further north. So, I had Peggy Rains running up the coast to deal with this vampire incursion that's on its way, but unfortunately, also there's a wood elf incursion on its way. So, I think we're probably going to have to turn Peggy Rains around. All of the good raised dead sites are up here, around like Misnar and Tor Correali. There's nothing down on the southern shore. So, I think it makes more sense to send our existing army south and then hire a new army to take advantage of the raised dead pool up north. That's pretty much just run south as fast as you can. Can we get walls up around Inguriel? No, I can get a garrison building, though. Certainly something. Alright, the other part of the north. So, just like last time one of these things happened, these guys spawned and immediately just sort of fanned out and ran everywhere. We're going to lose a bunch of our eastern settlements in the north here, and I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. However, we do have to at least try to do something about it. Cat Rains doesn't really have a lot of options. All she can really do is run along the road and try to get back over there in time to do anything at all. But Burke Black finds himself down here sieging the Bleakhold Fortress. With Tretch Craventail's army inside. Now, Tretch Craventail's army is mostly pretty bad units. There's a lot of clan rats and Skaven slaves here. So we could just attack. I really want him to get freed up to turn around, in case it is really necessary for somebody to run north. Or for him, specifically, to run north, because we don't even have anybody else over here. Or maybe even just to push on. I was sieging this castle in the hopes of bringing over some Tomb Kings so that we could engage in a combined assault, because I thought that would be a really cool thing to get on video, but as soon as I issued the War Coordination attack command, their army turned around and ran back home, so I guess we're out here by ourselves. We can probably handle this, and I need to not be stuck to this fortress forever. So we've been here long enough to construct a single group of siege towers. If I wait one more turn on this, we could get 2 more towers up. Each of these units of siege towers represents two towers. With 2 towers, we could just transport our entire group of sirens pretty easily onto the wall. You know, I think I'll actually do that. Alright, who else still has moves? Cat Rogers, I think we have we've commanded all of our armies.
On deck.
Viola was looking for treasure at the mouth of a river. Let's try this one, maybe? That one did not turn out to be the result. Wait, that's not even a river. I don't know what I was doing over there, but I think the clue is directing me to the mouth of a river, so we're going to try here. And Amelia Hodgson. I guess you ought to explore some of these. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're Skaven now. They weren't always. I was really hoping when we burned this that Mengel Manhide was going to swoop in and take it over. It's been a while since I've seen a rogue army get a settlement and really, like, try to become something. And that's a shame, because I think it's a really cool thing when it happens. Alright, so we need... I want to upgrade a ton of buildings in Tlachtlan, but I think we need to recruit a lord over here and keep as much money as possible for channeling into the raised dead. So, Let's summon them in Tor Korwali so that the run to Elysia is a little bit shorter than it would be if we summoned them right in Misnar. And we need a new guy. Yeah, our income's going to go in the toilet. Hopefully this one's going to be pretty temporary. So, an Admiral of Deeps or Vampires would be ideal. Gain loyalty from constructing pirate coves, but your loyalty decline rate is lowered. Vampires, high loyalty, and actually that trait's pretty cool. Alright, Ellie the Creeper, welcome to the team. Alright, you just chill here, and I mean, we should do local recruitment. Ugh. Oh, hey, actually, some of the stuff in the global recruitment pool is only a single turn. Well, let's pull 5 gunnery mobs from the global pool. And do we have any idea what Helman Gorst is bringing? We do not. Against some units, like Crypt Ghouls, I would expect that pistols would actually be pretty okay. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and recruit some of those as well. This right is not completely out of consideration. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. In some of our new jungle provinces, we could really use 5 public order. Alright, I think we're ready. Let us see how savaged we get by the Chaos Incursion. Yeah, we're making good progress everywhere. Like I said, I thought it would be quite a while in terms of turns before we were ready to move on to the next phase of the plan, and that certainly is being borne out here. If they attack Haggrafe, if the Dark Elves attack Haggrafe in force, I'm just going to let them have it. It's not worth trying to defend right now. It has proper walls and a garrison building and stuff. It'll be a tough take for them. I'm all about letting them just have the terrible tough take and then getting it back from them later after we have banished chaos from our lands once more. For real though, it sure would be nice if somebody could finish chaos off. So we're still not at war with the Vampire Coast. Checking the diplomacy levels, they hate me, but they're coming around a little bit, it seems like. So the pirate factions are able to avoid a lot of the aversion for each other. Oh hey, the Khemri are actually running over to play defense. That's nice of them. We should try to back them up as soon as we can. Because, you know, you saw his army just now. It's like entirely low-tier infantry. It's going to get completely shredded by these chaos armies. But any damage he can inflict will be welcome. Alright, where is this vampire count ship headed? I mean, it basically can't be anywhere other than Ulthuan, right? They sailed in a direction that doesn't really give them a lot of valuable ports. Alright, so we'll just raise Dead Bunch with our new army and then run over to Elysia. We should be able to get there on the next turn, I think, or if not, at least pretty close. I'm not too worried about this vampire invasion. It does require an army to respond to, but aside from that, I'm not too worried about it. And like I said, I'd be really happy if we could... really happy if we could slow them down. If we can just take out the vampires and then remove our own army, you know, immediately disband the army entirely so we get all the income back. So we are no longer paying all that upkeep. That is the ideal outcome up there. I just want that thing to be over with as quickly as possible. Man, I wish we had time to deal with these, all these Regiment of Renown fleets. It's just like free cool units floating out there. Oh, you know what I haven't thought about in a little while? The Regiment of Renown Necrofex Colossus is certainly available again by now. Okay, Yeah, there is no way we could possibly survive this. However, we do, of course, have to manual it because we have to try to damage this Chaos Army as much as possible. I have high hopes for dealing real damage to those Hell Cannon crews. They have a unit of knights and a unit of chariots, and then the rest of this stuff is pretty foot sloggy. We only have 2 units of rifles on defense, so we're not super likely to be able to kill a lot of stuff. We might be able to put a serious dent in these trolls and giants, though. I think the Chaos Warriors are going to benefit from just having too many models for it to be worth us firing at their unit. Probably shut down some Chaos Spawn or something pretty quickly, though, with the rifles. Hey, this map looks awfully familiar. So we don't really gain anything from trying to outrange them because they're just going to roll the Hell Cannon up on us. But maybe we should start further back than the Hell Cannon has range for. Make them be moving forward at the beginning of the battle. I put this guy in a stealthy location. Okay, he's hidden there. That's pretty good. Alright, well, you've seen this before. It's probably pretty obvious how this is going to go. Alright, we might be able to get a lucky hit with the loaded corpses. We have to hope, at least. Oh, see, part of the downside of starting my main army outside the range of the Hell Cannons is that the Hell Cannons have nothing to do right now except focus on these bats, and they do have homing projectiles, as you can see right there. It's part of the reason I wanted to move so far forward before attacking, is that I want to get out of their fire arc. Okay, well that'll keep them distracted for a little while. How close are we over here? Do I want to... I guess we could just move out now. I don't know what I'm really gaining by waiting. I'm not going to be able to catch them more grouped up than that, probably. Okay, that really didn't do that much damage. I'm debating whether I want to sing our shanty just yet. I do like all of these low armor enemies running up to fight me. Let's focus up on you. You're already doing it, but focus up over here. You are a... Okay. This is a melee lord, right? Yeah. Alright, well, not awesome. And you don't know any spells. Not even the basic ones. Okay, the Hell Cannon's dead. Let's start focusing on the next one. Alright. I definitely should have committed my forward move a little bit earlier. We did some good damage here, though. More than I was expecting, to be perfectly honest with you. Although I am disappointed with the performance of that bloated corpse. Well, but notice that you guys are not shooting these chaos trolls. Alright, we should be able to get... we should be able to extract our rifles here, right? Then we can turn around and fire at the large enemies that are towering over our melee. That'll show him to tower. Who said it was okay for you to tower like this? We're already, like, our morale is completely trashed. But we're doing pretty good damage on those hell cannons. And this is a hell of a lot more damage than we probably would have done in the auto-resolve.
Get me close. Fleet captain.
Oh good, my warriors are rallying. Yeah, we could probably just fast forward this. There's not really a lot of tactics to employ from here. We are massively, massively outnumbered. We got done the important stuff. Alright, so that might have actually removed all 3 of the units of hell cannons from their army. At least I hope it will have. Second, let me close something here, because I did not shut down all of the memory expensive things before launching the game. There we go. Okay, that should load in and out of battles a little faster. We completely removed one of the hell cannons from the army, and we made some of the others weaker. Yeah, alright, I'll take it. Because remember, they functionally have no replenishment. Any damage we deal to them is permanent. So permanently removing their long-range artillery is a very valuable step for us. If only you could refigure your garrisons just a little bit. I would love it if all of my garrisons were basically all rifles. I understand they don't want the garrisons to be too good. That's part of the reason they're built the way they are, but like, what if it was just all rifles, though? Couldn't we make it all rifles, though? Alright, and they're going to raise stuff and cause lots of extra chaos corruption, all of which is fine. Doesn't really matter. We just need to stop them before they do it to absolutely everything. Okay. Hey, I am all about that. If these guys want to just sail right past me and go fight the Vampire Coast instead, that actually works out just fine for me. Alright. Yep, we're being raided absolutely everywhere. Inconsequential heroes are taking inconsequential hero actions. You are going to take the Temple of Tlenkan on this next turn, and there's nothing I can do about it, but that's fine. We will certainly get it back.
No, need my warp token.
So this dude made an underway move from Zahutek to here? Really? That, his underway stance has very considerable range on it. I'm not sure really what his plan is here. I guess he's in a position where we can't interfere with him. Gotta give him that.
I need an audience.
I think we'd better follow up on Lord Scrollcover here.
Siren of the storm.
I'm not going to go into march mode because I don't want to put my army in too awkward of a position and then have them get attacked from both sides. That sounds like a recipe for annoying stuff. We can't actually get within range of this plague priest hero, to attack him, and if I try to move much closer, he's just going to wound me on his turn. It's a tough one.
No, not for us.
And I want to stand right outside of where it is telling me his movement. Excuse me, his movement range is. And if he is still able to move over to us and attack us, despite me having used the range that the game drew for us to determine his maximum movement, then I shall be annoyed. Alright, I think it's time to take the Bleakhold Fortress away from Tretch Craventail. Now, in theory, he should have a real tough time holding this against us, And in theory, when we take this, it should really break his military strength, because he cannot afford to replace all the armies that he's been losing. However, AI cheats, etc., etc. You know, you're playing on very hard. You're giving the enemy AI an awful lot of resources. So, I expect by the time we get to the next city, they'll have another full stack there. Like I said, I do wish there was a little something that could be done about this this phase where you just have to fight a full army every turn or two. I wish that it was a little bit more meaningful when you defeated somebody. It wouldn't make anything functionally any easier, because it's already not at all difficult to fight that army every 2 turns. It would just make the thing that's definitely already going to happen faster. Alright, well this is a pretty good outcome. So, we have towers. I think it's the first time we've actually used siege towers. First of all, they're made out of pirate ships, because of course they are. We're going to be able to wheel these up to the enemy walls, and then have troops travel up them to get up onto the walls without climbing. Which is important, because climbing is murder on your vigor. All your units get super tired climbing, and then they fight much worse up on the walls. I guess it makes reasonable sense to have these guys up here. We'll just attack this side of the fortress. And we definitely want to put our artillery as sort of a cornery position. Yeah, that'll work. We want to assign the unit of sirens that are not manning a siege tower to just stand with these dudes. And then everybody else is going to the wall, right? I think so. I think we want to just rush the wall. Because in theory, the sirens are going to get control of it pretty quickly. Alright. We want to instruct our siege towers to dock with the wall in the places that make the most sense for that. Just to say, as close to this gate as possible. And then all of you, and also you two, probably in pretty much the same block. Just get up close to the gate. We'll figure it all out afterward. And we're going to start seeing Skaven coming up from below as soon as that spell is off cooldown. A lot of these army type abilities start the match on cooldown and then become available a little bit in. The very moment they can summon additional clan rats, I expect them to, even though they will not be able to summon them in a way that is terribly useful. So, here's a question. Do I want to try to knock in the gate? Is this a worthwhile goal in a battle where we're going to be taking the walls anyway? Honestly, I'm not sure. As you can see, they have an awful lot of stuff inside. Oh. Yep, here's that, and this is exactly why we kept these sirens back here. Alright, they'll chase those guys off. That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, you know what? Let's take the gate. Oh, you know what? We have a very tightly grouped bunch of enemies here. An overcast purple sun of Xerius just wandering around in the enemy ranks could really do a lot of damage. Let's do that right here. And I know they've temporarily opened the gate, but they're just going to reclose it. I'm not going to try to sneak through. Okay, that is doing some okay damage. It's kind of wandering out of the enemy shape instead of further into it, which I am disappointed about. But yeah, this is a unit of storm vermin. Look at how much damage they've taken from that. That's a serious unit of enemies. Alright, and we are now taking control of the walls. Thank you, siege towers. As soon as... Let's see, how are we gonna get the rifles up onto the walls? Do I want to go right now? Or is that a bad idea? So I'm just thinking that, like, Obviously, I need the walls to be clear of enemies before the rifles get up, but the faster the rifles get up, the better it is for us, as they shoot people who are trying to approach the walls from the inside. Not sure when the right timing for that is. Also, this purple sun has done some fine work. All of this is just purple sun damage. I guess let's let the sirens drive people off the walls a little bit more first. That warlock engineer. For some reason, the depth guard up on the walls are getting massacred. Maybe they're getting hit by the direct artillery more. Hey, listen, I wouldn't exactly be shattered if we lost them. Also, I really appreciate them casting the Warp Lightning on the wall instead of in my semi-vulnerable units over here. Alright, they are not learning their lesson, which I really appreciate. We have another purple sun available in a few seconds. That might be what we do. The gate's about to pop open. We have not just our hero and our lord, but 2 units of Promethean gunnery mobs to send through. This is 16 normal or 21 overcast. I want to do the overcast. Like, this is a lot of dudes right here. Are we right there? Because they're going to collapse in, obviously. Yeah, kill their lord if you can. Yeah, that thing is doing some work. I wish it had wandered this way instead, but it'll do. Definitely have the Promethean gunnery mobs run in through the busted gate. Unfortunately, the rifles can't shoot through the gate, or they're not very likely to shoot through the gate due to how balled up we are in the gate. We're blocking their line of sight, and that does mean that they're just kind of useless until we resolve this early phase. How did you guys just stop fighting? What's the value of you just not fighting anymore? Oh, okay. My sirene's over here. Apparently still chasing enemies. That's a little bit annoying. Alright, looks like we've got some control of the wall. So I'm going to send a couple units of rifles up onto the wall. Ooh, maybe we want to be a little bit careful about coming up over here because there's a lot of guys up here right now. We can certainly come up over here though. This side is safe. Alright, he was supposed to be fighting their lord. Probably afford to shoot a fireball here. No, I'm not sure I can actually fire the fireball while in melee. It certainly doesn't seem to have done anything. Yeah, okay, it's just not going off. Well, that is a shame. I line up along the wall here. We are repelling their storm vermin. I think we've got this. Single unit of sirens can fight basically any number of clan rats. I think that part of the fight's probably pretty under control. We are definitely winning over here, despite the fact that they are pounding us and their own dudes with artillery. So now the question is, does it make sense to purple sun anymore? Probably not, right? Oh, you know what? Do I have leadership damage? I do. Maybe we want to focus on leadership damage a little bit, because these are Skaven. Everybody is trying to attack these guys, right? I know it's not ideal. Alright, so we got set up on the walls facing inward. We should be able to just, like, actually start shooting. But I have found that this process can be a little bit unintuitive, a little tricky as to when they can actually afford to fire, or when units on the wall can actually fire in. Yeah, they're trying. Yeah, we are enduring a lot of warp lightning up here on some very vulnerable units, but Burke Black does have the recruitment buildings for Sirens, so I guess I'm not too worried about it. These losses are all very temporary. How can I not? There we go. Soul Leech this dude. Try to get through their lord as quickly as possible. It is entirely possible, and maybe even likely, that as soon as their lord goes down, the rest of their army will follow. Alright, I think we should be able to get a couple of people through the gate here to set up inside now. Managed to push the enemy away from the gate enough. God, Mourngul Haunters in battle with inferior infantry are just absolutely terrifying. Even their anti-large infantry is just getting completely shredded.
At your service!
Alright, looks like the wall is pretty much ours, which means that wall troops can become ground troops. It also means that ground troops can become wall troops. The wall is a mysterious thing, you know. You can never tell exactly what sort of transformation it will wreak upon you. Then a couple more units should probably try to come inside. See how that actually works out. They do seem reluctant to follow such orders. I don't just want to run their lord off. I want to kill him. Looks like we're doing an okay job of that. Alright, he stopped to fight. That's encouraging. Oh, I think actually he may not have chosen to stop. The Haunter may have knocked him over. Alright, come on, finish him. How much is that? The Purple Sun Overcast is 23. It's definitely a reasonable place for doing it over there. He's got to be so close to dead. Another Soul Leech. Come on. Alright, the enemy lord is wounded. Excellent. So that's going to cause a temporary morale crash for them, which we are going to intentionally exacerbate. Let's crash some morale. Our Lord and our Haunter can just run over here. Apparently all these enemies are content to flee from us, which means I am content to approach. Alright, let's just pull everybody in. Then he tried to cast Fireball once again, and it totally worked. And it totally... Hey, look, it actually did. Every once in a while. I don't think it hit anything, but it sure did go off. At this point, that's really all I can ask. Actually, making sure that we are using Deadly Onslaught. And you know what? He could probably use some Vigor back, actually. Alright, Sirens into the siege crew. Trying to stop us right here at the gates, but I do not think they're going to be successful. You know, I did order these guys down off the walls. There we go. So yeah, that was a pretty large and impressive garrison plus a full stack army. This is the best the Skaven can manage against us. I think that the time for Skavendom on the western continents has come to an end. Honestly, the losses weren't even that bad. Lost a unit of sirens and a unit of rifles. I mean, losing something that's in the gold chevrons is always a little bit painful. But on the whole, I think we carried that off pretty well. So now we need to figure out with Burke what his plan is. Does he want to continue pushing south? Because, of course, if we turn him around and run north, then Tretch is going to rebuild, and then he's going to attack our southern border.
These are mine.
It might be better off just to finish him now, right? Everything we take from the Skaven has a melee building in it. It's a real shame since the melee building is such crap. Alright, how am I going to do this? Angariel is in extreme danger. I don't really want to spend any money on helping it, and it would take 2 turns to get proper walls up anyway. 2 turns that we do not have. I can't quite attack them within a single move. They're just outside of that movement range. So I think I am going to do this. I'm going to run across to the reinforcement area around Lothern so that they can't just pick our army off. Because if they did that, obviously it would be disastrous for us. They might take Angariel, or they might not. They might decide to just run back out to sea. We've seen Wood Elves do that in situations where it did not make any sense before. They're probably going to take Heggrafe back, but I just don't really have time to care about that right now. We got to get eastward as quickly as possible to root out this new corruption that has taken root. You know, we're going to root it right in the root. What do I want to do with you two? Well, we can't really support Silostra, and also she probably doesn't need the help.
No, Grace.
Nerglost Cackle here has gone around the side because he intends to attack the Temple of Kara. There's not a lot we can do about it without underway movement. I guess we can go to Zahutek.
Nothing will stop me.
This is probably not a 2-army solution. That does only have 6 units in this garrison. Can't quite reach it this turn. Do I want to run out into the open? I don't really want to get caught alone against the Skaven army, but I guess I do outnumber it, and I do have all of the guns. Maybe O'Bones McDonald just stays put for a turn?
A welcome tide.
Or, I mean, not stays put. Actually goes inside the city. But other than that, stays put. It probably that's right. I don't think I care about the... we'll get the Temple of Kara back. We have to go past it on our way over to the rest of the Skaven territory anyway. Since there's nothing east to push toward further than this, and south is vampires. Yeah, this is fine. We'll just let the Temple of Kara fall, and Silostra can get it back on her way back.
All bones on deck.
Beatrix is not actually being attacked, which is lovely.
With purpose.
Take a moment here to bring on some crabs. Oh man, maybe I don't need to do that actually. We might end up canceling that. Because we do have this thing that has to get resolved. So let's recruit. Maybe a little bit careful here. There's some good stuff in the pool. We're definitely going to need mortars, and I'm going to get a Carronade as well. Because we're going to be pretty negative on upkeep as well, so I have to be a little careful about that so that we don't go broke. But this has to be a reasonably good army. We have to be able to drive off vampires with it. It's probably not worth paying the extremely high upkeep of these Depth Guard. Let's see, I can put 5 more units in this army. They probably all have to be fairly basic. It might be just 5 units of deckhands. We see what's in his army. Pretty much great Graveguard.
I have sailed the world.
Well, I think we have enough rifles to deal with the Graveguard. That said, you know, vampire units or vampire armies don't have ranged units, so bats with bombs is kind of actually interesting. Let's go with one of those, and then that should leave me... Nope, it did not leave me enough money to pay the upkeep of my units. Well, let's unrecruit those crabs. It looks like they may not be necessary anyway. And then we only have one turn with this army, but that should be enough. In fact,
No.
I could sail out and attack them on the water. I think that's probably a bad idea.
On the double. Fly the flag.
My army is not quite up to the task of attacking their army straight up. If I can fight them with the help of a garrison, that's one thing, you know? A slightly different colored horse. Did Beatrix just hang out?
Captain, on deck.
Viola...
Time to go.
Oh hey, okay, we did it. His mouth may lack tongue and lips, yet it shall never close, for it has a thirst that can rarely be quenched. 1,500 gold. Alright, yeah, it's not nothing. I do not know what we're going to do with you next, but we don't have to decide that right now. Here we go, this is what I wanted. Amelia Hudson.
Reporting.
Alright, show me what is in these ruins. I suspect Skaven.
So much love.
Yep, we are not lucky enough to have had this empty settlement escape their notice. Jeez, I don't know, man. We can try to make her a little bit more of an assassin, because she's probably going to be tangling with Skaven agents quite a bit at the beginning here. And with that, I think we are ready to pass the turn. Trying to make sure we went through everybody and actually issued orders. Yep, alright. Let's do one more sequence of enemy turns and then probably call it there for now. I have every confidence in the world that we will successfully defend ourselves from this chaos incursion, but I do think there's a really strong possibility that we lose a bunch of land up north and then have to resettle it, which will be annoying. But we know that we certainly can't keep it empty with Tretch Craventail around. Alright, they have besieged Heggrave, although not with much of an army. I wouldn't be super shocked if those guys were to lose to the garrison if they attacked it. Tim Fenn has been wounded, but this agent has brought himself into range of sea legs. Yeah, there's no sense in fighting this manually. We're not going to get anything done here. That was suicide for Skrulk, though, because now Silostra's got him. He put himself in a position where he could not escape us. Ooh, it looks like Clan Rictus actually has no military right now. That is... That's definitely driving me to want to attack, rather than back off and send Burke Black over to help with the Chaos Invasion. Maybe now is the time to strike them in their moment of weakness. Alright, Katep is... Oh, he's just openly fleeing now. I mean, he was probably just going to get himself killed and not really do any damage engaging in that attack over there, but I would have at least taken it as a show of loyalty, you know? Can't trust these skeletons with anything. Turns out the only undead you can rely on are the fleshy ones. Something about the skin, that's where loyalty really lives. No, that's not right. That's not correct at all. Okay, that vampire army just jumped up on shore and sieged us at Elysius, so we are going to have an awful lot of units to use to attack him. And then we can disband that whole army immediately afterward and get a lot of our income back. Yeah, we'll, I probably won't skip any more turns for a while. We'll keep videos coming. I think the period of us dealing with the Warriors of Chaos here should be interesting enough. Like I said, when I decided to not change the format a little bit and not show every episode or every turn, one of the things I was thinking was that it would just be tedious to see us fight the same enemies over and over again. So anytime we get a little bit of variance in enemy composition here, I'll take advantage of it. You know, I honestly don't think there's much value in fighting this manually. This is just going to be my units getting torn apart by their bows. There's not really any damage we're going to be able to do here. But the good news is, this will mean, yeah, he burned it down. So that sticks Durthu's army in place for a turn, and we can hopefully engage on him here and defeat him in the open field. We've certainly done it before. There's an actual Warriors of Chaos army up here? That's Sarthoriel the Everwatcher. What is that guy doing here? Shouldn't he be in the Chaos Wastes? Because maybe this unfolds a little bit differently in Mortal Empires. Alright, Ungol Stoneheart, if you wanted to start carving pieces of the Vampire Coast territory off for yourself, I think this would be the moment to do so. And that Regiment of Renowned Navy is doing everything in its power to keep me from interacting with it. Well, I think we're going to have a productive couple of turns here. A lot of enemy armies actually in range of us that cannot escape from us by any normal means. We're also probably going to lose another settlement. They're attacking Karen Dakar, huh? Well, alright. We probably have to manual this. We're going to get less done here than we got done in the last battle, but we need to be here to manually attack the Hell Cannons with the bats, otherwise the bats will just die and accomplish nothing. And wouldn't that be sad if they wasted their very impressive potential? You can see some of them spawned in a region that was actually having a sea storm. So a couple of these stacks are pretty damaged already. And since they have no way to heal while they're in our territory, hopefully that will be helpful to us. Man, I really have... I guess this is a major settlement, so it always has walls no matter what. I was going to say, we have walls with a garrison this size? Alright, so none of this really matters, except for getting on that Hell Cannon. And in fact, these towers should be shooting at the Hell Cannons as much as possible as well. We're not going to do any meaningful damage to anything else here, I don't think. But the Hell Cannons are small enough and weak enough. Might be able to make something happen with that. Yeah, actually, the towers are already doing some pretty good work on that front. Yeah, okay. Pistols are doing alright. And actually, a lot of these enemies can't get up onto the walls due to them, you know, being large or being mounted. We actually might get a fair amount of damage done here. Alright, we can probably have the towers finish that crew off. Start working on the next one. Alright, here comes the part where things get ugly. Their infantry actually approaching the walls. But we are going to completely obliterate a couple of units here. This is not bad at all. It's a shame you can't rely on auto-resolve to do stuff like this. It certainly does things like this against you. But I have never seen the auto-resolver just knock, like, just the artillery out of an enemy's army in a battle that you lost or anything like that. They have ladders. They're just starting to get people up now. Also, the gates were destroyed. No time like the present for the sea shanty, I suppose. Yeah, we're not going to be able to hold this for very long. Come on, just finish them off. Make sure these ones go down as well. Okay, that's 2 units of hell cannons gone. Sorry, I guess a unit is just a single hell cannon. That's 2 hell cannons gone. Try to focus on the Chaos Giants with the Halberd troops. See if we can pull the gunnery mob off the wall. Because they could be standing here, they could be shooting at those giants. They're not going to do a huge amount of damage, but it's better than the nothing they're doing right now. I'm not actually sure if these bats can fire from that angle. They look pretty obstructed to me. Bring them over here and... yeah, honestly, for a defensive battle against a force that is superior by the amount that the Chaos Warriors were superior, this is a pretty good amount of damage we've dealt here. Yeah, I think at this point we can probably just hit the fast forward. Not really a lot of tactics left to apply. Just continue shooting at the guy who seems large and terrifying and also not that well armored. Yeah, this is pretty significant damage we got on a couple of those giants. Yeah, alright. Egrim's army is going to be a lot easier to deal with now. So, like I said, we're probably not going to do anything else this video. We're going to let the cycle of enemy turns here end. And then, as of the beginning of next video, we will be preparing ourselves for, basically, I'm expecting an all-out rolling, like, Andy Cap-style brawl with the Servants of Chaos up here. It is going to take a long time and a lot of fights to get through them. And then, once we've done it, it still doesn't actually end the Chaos Invasion event. Because, like I said, all of the named Chaos characters have to get killed first. So, Karen Carr falls, but we did some good damage on our way out. That's inconvenient. We kind of have to do the same thing again. I don't really want to fight this battle right now, though. You know what? We're pretty close to the enemy, the end of the enemy turns here. I'm gonna save, because we have a little bit more of a chance to do damage here. I want to take this battle a little bit more seriously. We cannot win it, but I think we can really hurt them here. So, for the moment, I'm just gonna call it here for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time to see us give Chaos a bloody nose. And we'll see you then.